Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genty Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in. Welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. It's Tuesday, May the 14th, 2023. No, not 2024. 2024, sorry. And so we are here. It's been a long weekend and all that stuff, so it's been a long day. But I hope everyone's good out there. I know I am. I'm gonna do a little bit of things, but we're on the come up, so I'm doing all right. I hope you guys are doing as well. Now, let's get to these basketball games, and let's talk about the conference. No, the semifinal. Let's talk about the second round. Okay, the Celtics and Cavaliers last night. As you saw, LeBron was at the game. Okay, now LeBron was a big distraction before the game. Well, actually, during the game, because they kept showing LeBron and his wife Savannah, and I'm like, okay. I said this in my mind. I said LeBron should go to the game. I said it. I said LeBron should go to the Cleveland Cavaliers game, because we're seeing NBA players go to NBA games now. Usually that's never happened. Usually NBA players don't go to NBA games. We're seeing that more often in the playoffs, but we're also going to be seeing that in the WNBA when tonight starts. So tonight is the 28th season of the WNBA. I'll talk about that on my second break, but I want to tell you young ones, the new ones that are coming in here, that are celebrating the WNBA and also celebrating Caitlin Clark. First of all, Caitlin Clark was not born 28 years ago. Caitlin Clark did not run this league 28 years ago. We got players like Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker. May I go on? Because we got a list that came before Caitlin Clark and all of them. So, Chance, you and your friends, they don't run the league. Don't let them tell you she's the face of the league, because she's not. So, there isn't a face. But I'll tell you that in another segment, around 1:15-ish. Now, this game last night. So LeBron was at the game. You know, what a better way to go back to Cleveland, be celebrated, while the Cavaliers are in the playoffs without you. Donovan Mitchell did not play, which, that was very surprising to me, because I thought, I thought he'll play through an injury, but he did miss 27 games throughout the whole entire season. So that begs me to differ that Donovan Mitchell should have played last night. I understand it's a left calf issue. I know it almost connects to the Achilles, but if I'm him, and my team is down 2-1 or 3-1 for that matter, I'm playing this game. I mean, I know the calf injury is huge and is big. It's a big deal. You don't want to get hurt, but at the end of the day, you're fighting for a chance. You could easily tie up the series if you were out there. But I can't ride on him that much. I'm not going to, because I think he made the right decision. So to me, I'm not going to ride him like that. But what I am going to do is I want to give Cleveland a little bit of praise last night. I thought Cleveland fought. Darius Garland scored 30 points. Max Strus had 15 points when he fouled out. So Max Strus did not pick up a foul in the first half. But you're telling me he picked up all 6 fouls in the second half. Wow. This dude needs to stop fouling. Stop fouling Max Strus. I know you're not a defender or anything, but be in position to cut Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum off, because you're asked to guard two people. One of them happens to be Jaylen Brown. So I thought that was huge last night, him fouling out. Evan Mobley did his thing as well, and also, like I said, Darius Garland did his thing, was 30 points. But Cleveland couldn't play defense last night. They couldn't stop the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum had 33 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. He needs to stop complaining to the officials. The one day that Jason Tatum stops complaining about every call that he should get is the day that I will profoundly respect him. Right now, my level of respect for him is indifferent. It's night and day for me. The days that he doesn't go through contact. You are the best player in the NBA, or at least one of the best in the NBA. You are supposed to experience through contact. You have to go through it. I'm sorry, you just have to go through it, or else you have to win, or else you can't play in this league. So, with that being said, you got to make sure that you keep your mouth closed so that you're not aggravating the officials to give you a technical foul during the game. But it didn't make it. It didn't make it a difference. It wasn't a difference in the game. What the difference was, Jason Tatum finally found his stroke. He finally found his comfort spot. And so, with that being said, we got to make sure that Jason Tatum keeps his mouth closed and just go back on defense. That's what I want to happen in Game 5. In Game 5, we got to have the same Jason Tatum in Game 4, from Game 4, when he was aggressive. And also Jaylen Brown too. Because I think Jaylen Brown's more aggressive than Jason Tatum. They need both of them to score 60 points last night because they didn't get anything from Derek White. I'm trying to see what Derek White scored. Derek White only scored, if you look at, he only scored 5 points last night. So not the best effort from Derek White, but I'm pretty sure if he's called upon again, he will shine again. So, but then again, it depends how the Cavaliers are playing you. So, the Boston Celtics for Game 5 will need a repeat performance from Jason Tatum. You got to put 3 good games together for the betterment of your team. Can Jason Tatum do that? It remains to be seen. That means scoring more than 25 points and grabbing more than 5 rebounds. And actually, you don't need 5 assists, but it would be nice if you had at least stay at 5 assists. Jaylen Brown still needs to be aggressive, but also I'm looking for Derek White. To come through. Because if Derek White scores 15 plus points in Game 5, Boston has this in the bag. Boston's going to win this game. Now, for the Cavaliers, you're not going to ask LeBron to suit up because LeBron is long gone. Donovan Mitchell, we'll see. He sat out last night in Game 5. I don't know if he's going to play Game 5, but if I were him, I'm down 3-1. My team's down 3-1. I'll do everything I can to be out there. I'll get around-the-clock treatment, but everybody's structured differently. I know Giannis was out 6 games in that series against the Pacers, but Jamal Murray never missed a game. And I know both of those guys are built differently, but Jamal Murray cares about the game. I'm not saying Donovan Mitchell does not. I'm saying that Jamal Murray cares. Didn't want to let his boys down. Donovan Mitchell cares, but Donovan Mitchell says, nah, the calf wasn't communicating to me enough, so I have to sit out, which he did. So now the adjustment I want the Celtics to make is the Celtics have to make sure that you gotta get Garland and Mitchell on the move. Garland's more of a spot-up shooter than Mitchell is. Mitchell loves to drive. So you got to prepare for Mitchell. If he does play. But I think he's going to play. I'm not sure. We just got to wait game time till we get the official word. For the Cavaliers, you got to make Jason Tatum work. You got to make Jaylen Brown work. You got to make Max Strus stay in the game on defense. Your defense is needed. I'm not saying you're the best defender in the game, but what I'm saying is that you have to play defense. You got to stay in the game. And not worry about the officiating. Now, for the Thunder and the Mavericks, okay? That game, epic game, 196. I was talking to Angelo, our other producer, and I told him, dude, Luka's legs is tired. Luka played, if I have the box score right here, Luka played 42 minutes. Bum, injured knee and ankle at the same time. You're asking him to play 42 minutes while being guarded by the best defender in the league in Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, and they showed a little bit of Kendrick Williams. He got some run last night, but he was guarding down low, so he had to guard Luka and guard Lively and plus Gafford down there. And so, what do you want the man to do? You're worried about the man missing the first free throw. Of course, yeah, you don't. Luka does not want to miss the free. You don't want to miss free throws. Okay, fine. You don't have to. But at the same time, Angelo, if you want to go out there and play basketball, go out there and play and hit free throws. Try hitting 100 free throws. Can you hit at least 90% of the free throws that Luka has made? His legs are tired. Just imagine working 16 hours a day at your job, and boss tells you, hey, you're going to work an extra 30 minutes, but I just worked 16 hours. I'm tired mentally, physically I'm tired, my knee, my ankles, my body's tired, but I just worked 16 hours, but you want me to work an extra 30 minutes. That's what Luka did last night. Luka played 42 minutes, scored 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. What more do you? And you're worried about a missed free throw? He went 6 for 20. He wasn't at his best. Come on, man. Why don't you just tell Luka to take better shots? Why don't you just tell Luka to be aggressive? Why don't you just tell Luka to stop flopping? And stop talking to the officials. I wish the one day that Luka does not have to look back at the officials. The one day that happens, I'll be happy. And Mavs fans will be happy too, because that's a shame. Your star shouldn't be scoring 18 points in a playoff game. I understand you're hurt. Joel Embiid had a freaking knee injury. He rushed it back. In 6 games, he averaged 30 points a game. And also, Tyrese Maxey was at the game last night. So, that's his point guard. Tyrese Maxey was at the game last night. The little point guard from, he's from here. He's from Nashville. And so, he was at the game last night. So no excuses. I wasn't trying to make an excuse for Luka. I'm just saying he's tired. He knows that. And what about Kyrie? You're worried about Luka, Angelo? What about Kyrie? He only had 9 points. He was not aggressive. He didn't show himself last night. The only guy that showed himself last night was P.J. Washington. The Thunder finally moved him away from the corner. And they said, you know what? We're going to make you beat you. We're going to say, hey, shoot this three from the wing. Shoot this three from a different spot. That's what the Thunder did. That's why they changed their whole entire defense. That's why the Mavericks shot under 30% in the second half. Because they moved Washington out of his comfort zone from the corner. They said, you know what? You're going to beat us from this wing. They dominated the paint. Was lively. They shut down Lively and Gafford from getting the loft passes, even though they were still getting them. They made Luka work. Lou Dort has the same body. I think Lou Dort is a little stronger than Luka. They made Luka work. See, Luka's allergic to work. You know why? Because when he gives body up like that, he always looks at the officials for a foul. Look at the videos. There's videos of him getting pushed around, and the officials are not blowing their whistles. Look at that. It's there. and so Luka's allergic to contact. But the Thunder did a great job getting him, getting Kyrie, getting the whole time Mavericks out of their comfort zone. And the Mavericks had a shorter bench in the second half. So they only played 7 guys in the second half versus the 9 that they played in the first half. Yeah, they played 9 guys in the first half. But they subbed in Hardaway and Lively in the second half. Josh Green did play a little bit in the second half, but it wasn't a lot. And so to me, the Mavericks, to make adjustments for Game 5, is hit better free throws. You went 12 from 23 from the line last night. Okay, yeah, of course. You know, it makes a difference in the game when you miss 11 free throws. Yeah, it's a huge difference. And then you got to make your free throws, but also Luka's got to be better. Luka's got to stop talking to the officials. He's got to accept the contact that Lou Dort is giving him and absorb it. Be stronger than Dort. Dort had 2 fouls in the first quarter. You could have attacked him. And so I thought, honestly, that wasn't the best Dort game I ever seen from him defensively. But he knows that, and he's going to do better. Excuse me. And so, also, I like the loft passes that Gafford and Lively are receiving. And Derrick Jones Jr. I think Derrick Jones Jr., they're going to make him an outside shooter. So Derrick Jones Jr. has to shoot the ball. Your game is inside. You got to shoot the basketball. If they're saying, you know what, we're going to guard Luka. We're going to guard Kyrie. We're going to leave P.J. Washington open. We're going to move P.J. Washington around. We're going to force Derrick Jones Jr. to beat us. And if he hits 3 shots in a row, okay, great. And that means shooting the basketball. But he can't do that. And so, to me, Derrick Jones Jr. has to shoot the ball effectively. The Thunder, the adjustments they need to make, Shai Gilgeous needs to have another masterful game. Last night, they couldn't stop him. They tried Washington. They tried Derrick Jones Jr. They tried Luka. They tried Kyrie. They tried Hardaway Jr. They tried Josh Green. They tried 6 defenders on 1 player. He torched them all. Shai Gilgeous had 20 points in the second half. He torched him to lead on to 34 points. You just might as well just say, you know what? Good job, bro. You did a great job. You found your spots. Let's see what happens again. You're not going to knock Shai Gilgeous out of his spot. I told y'all. I said it. I said, knock Shai out of his spot. They don't listen to me. They think I'm an idiot. But, okay, fine. You're tied 2-2. Someone says Mavs in 6. Why you say Mavs in 6? I said Thunder in 6 because I know the Thunder have youthful legs, and their coach is smart as hell. So why am I picking the Mavs to win in 6? Why? It's not even the coach's fault. It's Luka. Luka's hurt. And so, to me, as far as the Thunder goes, you need Jalen Williams to come through. Because I feel like Jalen Williams is forcing a lot of things. But also, Chet needs to be physical on defense. So, they keep the Mavs, Gafford, and Lively, they keep pushing Chet around. And that's why that's why Mark Dago decides to go with beef, which is Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, the taller Jalen Williams, over finesse. Chet Holmgren is a finesse player. Jalen Williams is bulky, is a bulky, athletic guy. But he has beef on him because he can play with the bigger ones like Gafford and Lively. They're not going to move Jalen Williams around. The Mavs are not going to post Gafford and Lively up. They're not going to do that. That's not their offense. Their offense is a pick and roll to the basket, and we're going to throw a lob pass to you for a dunk. That's the Mavericks' offense for Lively and Gafford because those guys are both of them can jump out of the building. So that's their offense there. So, but I do think the Thunder need to, at least when it comes down to the pick and roll, I don't like going up on the pick and roll. For them, I don't like it because you're giving up the lob pass to Gafford and Lively. So to me, I think you have to stay home, or maybe switch it. You know, if Lou Dort is guarding Luka, maybe you switch to pick and roll with Chet, put Chet on Luka, and then have Dort bully Gafford and Lively down there. Listen, Lou Dort has the body type to push Gafford and Lively around. Let me say this again. Lou Dort at 6'4", 6'5", has the body type to push Gafford and Lively around. The reason why he's not doing that is because of height. And so, with that being said, I wanted them to give up that spot. I wanted them to stay home. The 3-point range is not. They're not a good 3-point shooting team. We know that the Thunder are not a good 3-point shooting team. We know that. But when they penetrate, so we got to see more penetration to the basket and for open shots from the outside. So if we see that more in Game 5 and in Game 6, then I think the Thunder are going to be tough to beat. So take into account that this is the Thunder series to lose. I think that the Thunder have it. I think the Mavs don't. The Mavs lost their opportunity at the free throw line. You know, like you could have hit one free throw. How about you hit 11 free throws? How about you hit 11 free throws so that you don't have to worry about that one free throw that you missed in the fourth quarter? Or actually 2 free throws that you missed. Actually 3 free throws that you missed in the fourth quarter because Kyrie missed one. So it was just a bad night overall for the Dallas Mavericks. But not for the Dallas Stars. You can go tell your friends about the Dallas Stars. Now, for the Game 5 matchup that I'm looking at right now tonight. So Game 5, we have the Nuggets and Timberwolves. The Nuggets beat the Timberwolves 115-107. And I'm like, I never thought the Nuggets would come back in this series. But they're here. I always thought that as soon as Game 2 ended, I thought the Timberwolves will sweep the Nuggets. But no. The Nuggets went into Minnesota and they won 2. Wow. They won 2. And I'm like, okay, I can't. This is the reigning champions. Of course, they're going to play like it. Dang. And they went in there and they won too, despite Anthony Edwards scoring 44 points. He had 44 points in game 4. And I'm like, what more do you want this man to do? What more are we saying that this man should do? Because if we're looking at it, Anthony Edwards can do a lot of great things. He can get you a basket. He can lead. And also he can back up his talk as well. And so, but Minnesota needs help. In game 5, I want to see Minnesota. I want to see Karl Anthony Towns step up his game. I want to see him step up his game in this game. I want him to score 20 and 10 tonight. Tonight, you got to have it tonight. Stop fouling. Stop being confused. I want to have it tonight for Karl Anthony Towns. You're not guarding anyone. You're guarding Aaron Gordon for that, for goodness sakes. And I know Aaron Gordon's a great player, but you got to go get your own tonight. You got to go get it tonight. Another thing is Jalen Daniels needs to come through on defense. We're not going to ask the man to score, but on defense, you're guarding Murray, you're guarding Aaron Gordon, you're guarding even Jokic. So with Murray, you gotta force him up the floor. So that means Rudy Gobert has to come out a little bit, or Karl Anthony Towns has to come out a little bit for that pick and roll to not work between Jokic and Murray. For that pick and roll to not work, that second defender, that defender that's guarding Jokic has to come out. And so to me, you got to sacrifice something. I know you want to protect the rim at all costs, but if you want to come out and defend the pick and roll and try to recover, play in recovery mode, I think that's what Minnesota has to do. So Jokic will beat you, but it's not going to be all that bad. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not going to be all that bad. So, with that being said, I want also Minnesota needs their bench. We haven't heard anything from Kyle Anderson. We haven't heard anything from Nas Reed. Nas Reed has been a no-show since game 2. So we haven't heard anything from him. So those two guys need to come through. Kyle Anderson was defense. Nas Reed was the offense. But you're asking Nas Reed to guard both the rim and Jokic. So whenever Rudy Gobert needs his break, you're going to make sure that he guards the basket versus guarding Jokic. So you're definitely telling him 2 different things. And so to me, when I look at this matchup, I said, okay, that's my adjustment from Minnesota. For Denver's sake, I want Jokic and Murray, especially Murray, to come through again. Murray had 19 points. He needs 25. At home. This is a home game for him. Remember at home you do that towel and do that heat pad on the court, it costs you a $100K fine, which everybody has said he should be suspended. He should be, fined. He got fined a hefty amount, $100K. That's a hefty amount. That's a lot. But Stephen A. and all of them wanted you to be suspended, and I'm like, I mean, if one of those things hit Mark Davis, the official, then yeah, I would have definitely suspended him. But we're talking about a heat pad that you put on your body, that they have the liquid inside to keep you heated, to keep your body warm and all that stuff, and then obviously a towel. So that could have easily hurt Mark Davis. Could have had a concussion. The heat pad was near Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns just had a knee injury. And then also, he at this time or before this time last year, he had a calf injury. So he was one fall away from a torn Achilles. My gosh. I'm like, you got to redeem yourself tonight, Murray, at home. Don't embarrass yourself at home. That's why I say you have to put up. But you made it up by your performance. That's why they didn't boo you in Game 4. You had 24 points in Game 4. That's our Game 3. So that the Minnesota crowd did not boo you, which is good. So 25 points for you tonight. Also, there are benches to come through. Like I said, Reggie Jackson, Justin Holiday. Well, actually, they did come through. So let's see if they can do it again at home. Justin Holiday, Christian Brown, Reggie Jackson. Let's see what y'all do at home, man. Let's see what y'all do at home. Again, Denver's going with a 3-man bench. Again, it worked last year. But is it going to work? Is it going to work at home? It's worked in this series because they're tied. But tonight, is it going to work tonight? That's the biggest thing. And let's see who coaches better. Is it going to be Micah Nori? Is it going to be Michael Malone? Which, by the way, let me say this on the Lakers head coach's search because they just started this yesterday. Micah Nori, if you watch his YouTube clips on how to design the game of basketball, that should be the Lakers head coach. That should be the Hornets head coach. Shout out to Charles Lee for getting that job in Charlotte, by the way. That should be anybody's that's looking for a coach that designs X's and O's, just like Micah Nori has done. He should have a job by now. You can't hire a J.J. Redick, even though J.J. Redick knows his background. He knows he played in the league. He knows what he's talking about. But J.J.'s not ready. It's different. Micah Nori has experience, 20-plus years of basketball experience. Micah Nori should be on the top of your list. Shouldn't be second. Shouldn't be last. He should be the top of your list. He should be hired by now. Why May the 13th, you're starting your coach's search now? Why? To please your fans? Oh my gosh. Michael Nori should be your head coach, Lakers. I wish he was my head coach, but I'm a Spurs fan. We got to deal with Pop. But Pop is the greatest coach of all time. Don't get it twisted. But anyways, so that's the matchup that I'm looking for tonight. Now, my last matchup is the Knicks and the Pacers. I don't know where I'm going to go with this because the Pacers had 2 great home games. It was a blowout in Game 4. Game 3 was a close game because Game 3, Andrew Nembhard hit the game-winning three-pointer. Dante DiVincenzo in Game 3 had 35 points, but he didn't show up in Game 4. He didn't even crack double figures in Game 4. So, you're telling me, Stephen A. Tonight, Game 5. You're telling me, Game 5, Stephen A. You're going to complain that the Knicks are shorthanded. Yeah, you're right. Because Mitchell Robinson had ankle surgery yesterday. Yeah, you're right. Because Julius Randle is out. Yeah, you're right. Because Bogdan Bogdanovic had foot surgery last week. Yeah, I don't know if you're right or not. But you're looking for, at this stage in the game, you're looking for guys to come through. Why is it that you get to the second round was out Mitchell Robinson? Well, actually, you played with him, but he wasn't getting the minutes. And then you played, the first round was out Julius Randle and Bogdan Bogdanovic. But now you get to Game 5, and now you're making excuses. Why are you making excuses in Game 5 for before the game? Don't you have Alex Burks? Don't you have Dante DiVincenzo? Don't you think Dante DiVincenzo will redeem himself? Don't you think Jalen Brunson, who had 18 points, that's pedestrian for Jalen Brunson. Don't you think he'll come through tonight? Don't you think these guys that have a chip on their shoulder to play well at Madison Square Garden tonight, Tibbs has their going tonight. So to me, if you're asking me tonight, Jalen Brunson needs to score at least 30-plus points tonight for them to win. Josh Hart needs to play 48 minutes for them to win. Dante DiVincenzo needs to come through tonight. This is his bounce back tonight. Alex Burks needs to provide some minutes tonight with his quality play. He can score the basketball. Miles McBride needs to come through tonight. Anybody that can help Jalen Brunson out, the starting lineup out tonight, needs to come through tonight. So that means their bench needs to come through tonight. And all the stars that are going to show up for New York right now, tonight. Stephon Marbury. You know Stephon Marbury. You don't know Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury is a New York Knicks legend. Stephon Marbury grew up in New York, played for the Knicks. He had those killer crossovers back in the 2000s. And killer crossovers to the point where he would get to his spot, shoot a jump shot. He was the best point guard for them ever. And back in the 2000s. So you don't need him on the court because he's literally on the court. I wish the NBA would tell Stephon to step back. Anytime you sit on that baseline, you're basically on the court. Or that sideline where John Starks sits. Or that sideline that Spike Lee sits. You know Spike Lee. Come on now. Yeah, so... and then Pat Ewing. Pat Ewing doesn't even stand up. He doesn't even stand up. He just sits all game long. And so... But I'm glad the passion is there for these guys that I watched as a child. I'm glad it's there. Because if we didn't have that, then we'll be going off dry land. We'll be going off on this boring generation. So I'm glad they're supporting the Knicks. Now, if the Indiana Pacers had that support, then we'll be a different story. Your support has to extend outside Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. Your support has to extend outside Caitlin Clark. It has to extend out. Like, they showed Caitlin Clark at the game in Game 4, celebrated. Yeah, first was her boyfriend. Okay, fine, great. But your support has to extend outside that. Maybe Erica Wheeler comes to the game. Maybe Nilissa Aaliyah Boston come. Indiana Fever players come to the game. You had Sunday off. Yesterday you were on a plane, charter plane, by the way. You saw that. Yeah, you did. And they were having a good time, right? Yeah. So that did not happen 28 years ago. 20 years ago, they were flying commercial from 97 to 2023. They were flying commercial. So that means somebody else will be in the plane with them, going to where they're going. So it was hard for everybody, hard for the players, coaches, the equipment staff, because they had to grab all the jerseys on one bag to put everything in. So it was hard on everybody because your luggage was lost and it was a mess. But I guess they got it right, and they were traveling in between nights, because if you played in Las Vegas, but you got to go to Seattle the next night, you're getting on the plane, and then there might be some delays in between, but those delays, you'll be there 2 hours before you're supposed to get there. So let's say you get to Seattle by 12 o'clock, but you don't get there to 2 a.m. You lose about an hour of sleep. So everybody has to. So there'll be no shoot around. You just go to the game a little bit early, maybe like 5 hours before the game to get shots up. That was the WNBA 28 years ago. But now they have it good now. Well, actually, you know what? We'll see what happens. Let's see if it works. And because they invested $50 million in that. And so your support has to extend through Caitlin Clark, Jalen Rose, Mark Jackson, All that talking you have been doing, Mark Jackson, on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. You don't go to the game. You were the point guard in the 2000 NBA Finals. And I have that on tape, by the way. And so I can't play it today because it's on tape. It's literally on tape. And they don't have VCRs. Unless you go to the pawn shop and get one, and it's going to be tough. But Larry Bird, Jalen Rose, Peyton Manning, all the Tony Dungy, all the Pacers, Colts legends need to be at the Tamika Catchings need to be at this game, but they weren't. We're seeing legends and legends and legends from every sport be at these NBA playoffs. I know Tyrese Maxey is not. Tyrese Maxey is a legend in Mansfield, but he's still playing in the league. He was at the Mavericks game last night, and so you need to support the Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller hasn't been to Indianapolis in 20 years. He retired almost 20 years ago. He hasn't been back there since. And so, what a great way in Game 6 to go back there. Actually, Game 6 is Thursday. I don't know. Okay, that might be an ESPN game. Okay, never mind that. So and so every legend needs to be at these games. Now, for the Pacers' sake, they need Halliburton to come through again. Halliburton needs to. I know he's dealing with a back injury. I get it. Andrew Nahar, what's that guy's name? T.J. McCollum need to defend Jalen Brunson like hell tonight. I know Aaron needs. This has been the best defense on Jalen Brunson I ever seen in my life. Being physical with him, Jalen Brunson can get any airspace. But the Indiana must defend other players as well because Dante DiVincenzo lighted them up for 35 points. They were able to defend him in Game 4. Now your task is, can you do it in Game 5? That's a bigger task. And also, can you take that quality of play that you showed at home onto the road? That's my thing. So I don't know where I can go with the series. I said the Knicks is 6, but I'm a little worried that the Pacers may get it tonight. Because you got to remember, in Game 1 and Game 2, the Pacers were about 2 possessions away from winning the game. They have been blown out in this series. You got to understand that. And so, to me, if the Pacers execute on their possessions in the last 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, they win this game. And I'm talking about putting the ball in the hands of your point guard. Tyrese Halliburton has to make his name known in this league. No, actually in this playoffs. We have to know your name. So that's my takes tonight. I think, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to choose the Knicks tonight. This is a question mark game for me, but also I'm going to choose the Nuggets to win the game, to win Game 5 tonight. I'm also going to choose the Thunder to win Game 5 as well. So this person said Mavs in 6. He thinks the Mavs win Game 5 and Game 6. Nuh-uh. The Thunder are going to win Game 5. I don't know who's going to win Game 6, but I know the Thunder are going to win Game 5. Boston should take care of the Cavaliers. They're done. With or without Mitchell, they're done. Boston. I'm not saying Boston's not done. The Cavaliers are done. So that's that. All right. So we'll see what happens in the coming days. Now, the draft lottery. I know I didn't want to talk about this because I know everybody, every bad team on this list I'm going to name you is celebrating today because, well, actually they celebrate on Sunday because they know who they're going to get. They're going to get on. Their scouting players, the scouting coaches are going to get on it. They're going to be at the NBA draft combine, and they're going to get on it. They're going to draft. They're going to scout every player possible, and go from there. So let's do 1 through 14. Number 1, the Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks got the first pick. They had a 3% chance to get the first pick. Number 2, the Wizards. Now, by the way, I want the Hawks to trade that first pick, by the way. Number 3, the Rockets. Number 4, the Spurs. What are we going to do at number 4? Are we going to draft a point guard? Are we going to draft a scorer? What are we going to do? It was that 4th pick. Number 5, the Pistons. Number 6, the Hornets. Number 7, the Blazers. Number 8, the Spurs. This is Toronto's pick, but we have that pick because of the Jokic Jacob Poeltl trade that happened a couple years ago. Number 9, the Grizzlies. Number 10, the Jazz. Number 11, the Bulls. Number 12, OKC. Wow. OKC has a 12. This is going to be a pattern for them for years to come because they have 7 picks in the next 7 years. So the Clippers. So thank the Clippers and thank the Kings for giving the Thunder picks in the first round, and they don't need these picks. They got their team. These are teams that are desperate that I'm naming off of. Number 13, Sacramento. Number 14, Portland. So to me, I don't know. We'll definitely do a draft show coming up. I'll do one as well. So because I know I kind of have a good idea of where to put these players at. So I want to talk about little Bronny James. I call him Lil because that's LeBron's son. This man played at USC, averaged 5 points a game. He had a combine workout last night. I don't know if y'all saw pics of the video of that. He had a combine last night. He did okay. I watched the film of it. He did okay. He did okay on 5-on-5 and drills that they made him do and made others do as well. So he did well on that. I don't think. I honestly wish that he stay in college more because we haven't seen the real value from him. It's like your father. It's like I understand your father is huge. He's big time, but he, like Shaq said, make your name. And Brian James is not, to me. Now, I could be wrong. I don't want to shame on another man's dreams because I know his dream is to play in the NBA, and I get it. But this, if we're saying late in the second round, don't you think that you want to stay another year in college to improve those odds? Maybe you get drafted late in the first round or in the early second round, depending on the quality of play. Again, we haven't seen the full complete of Bronny James, and we're not going to see that in the NBA. These executives have to understand that you can't bring on a great player because of LeBron James. LeBron James and Bron James have different styles of play. What I see from Bronny James, I haven't seen enough of him, is that Bronny James can only play point guard. LeBron can play multiple positions. Bronny James is not a scorer like his dad is. And so I just don't see this working out. I don't want to make the decision for him, but more power to you. If you stay in the draft, great. If you make the decision of I want to go back to college, okay, even better. Because we haven't seen the real value from you. If we're trying to see the real value from you, Bronny, I think an extra year in college will work out for you. Look at the G League Ignite. They're no good. They're long gone. Now they're telling you, the NBA says, go to college. They're not even worried about the education part. Your parents are. Because the NBA says, hey, if you average 20 points a game, hey, if you're average 20 points a game, you're a team guy, you're going to get drafted. You don't get in trouble as well, you're going to get drafted. Your parents are like, well, I don't know if LeBron cares about his grades, but other parents will be like, get this degree. You're going to be set for life. You never know what will happen. And that goes for everybody. If I'm going to the store one day, right, If I see something that I like, why am I going to? I'm willing to get it. But if I see that it's something I don't like, I'm not going to touch it. So why do these teams see that LeBron's son averages 5 points a game in college? They like that because that's Bronny's son. That's LeBron James' son. He could be just like LeBron. No, I don't think he is. Grow a little bit, then let's talk about it. But I don't think he's going to be like LeBron. I'm sorry. I just don't think that. Why is Skip and all of them, all of these namesavers encouraging this? I think Skip and others, the negative ones. I'm not a negative one. I always want the best for Bronny and other people as well. I want to know, why are you encouraging this man to go to the NBA at averages 5 points a game? It doesn't make sense. To play with his son, he can do it. He's done that enough growing up. I know LeBron has games and playoff games and all this stuff. He hasn't done it enough, but LeBron has a legitimate excuse. Other parents don't. And so, to me, I'm not encouraged by this. There's other players in the draft we should be focusing on. I don't want to focus our energy on a player that could be going the late to undrafted rounds. I don't want that, because if he's getting this much attention, why is it that other players that don't get drafted are not getting that attention? The only time those undrafted players get that attention is if either they're transferring or they play overseas and score a million points a game, or they make a name, or they do something drastic negatively. So if we're focused our energy on one player, why is it that other players can't get that energy as well? I'm just saying. I love Bronny's son. I love Bronny James. Not Bronny's son. Bronny James. I love what he's all about. But I don't want to focus that energy on a player that's going to be drafted in the late to non-drafted rounds. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. The Lakers, I'm not going to pick that far. The Lakers may pick up somebody else. The Lakers, LeBron's not going to tell the Lakers, you need to draft my son. He's not going to do that. Or if he does do that, then that'll be the selfish way LeBron gets off. He's never going to do that. I don't think he will. I hope he doesn't. Because if he does, then I'm going to be very upset at LeBron. You're supposed to tell your kids, make a name for yourself. When Shaq told his daughter, probably told his son as well, because his son's on those commercials. His son's on those commercials. I don't think he's playing basketball anymore because of the same thing that Bronny James went through. But I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to speak into context of what Shaq is doing. But when Shaq told his daughter, they had a documentary on this. He told his daughter, go make a name for you. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. But I know where she's going. She's going to Florida. If they had a team in 3 years from now, if Shaq's daughter averages 18 points a game, 10 rebounds, that's good enough for college players to get drafted. I'm saying that if they have a team in Florida at that time, which, by the way, the WNBA is playing games. I'm not putting a team in Florida because they had the Miami Soul and they had the Orlando Miracle. Those were those were real teams. Those were real teams back in the 2000s. They were real teams. They had the they had the Miami Soul and the Orlando Miracle. Miami Soul was coached by Ron Ronstein, and also the Orlando Miracle was coached by Carolyn Peck. And so, which she's a terrible coach, but anyways, if they had a team in Florida, I don't know what side of Florida they're gonna have the team at. Then why not put her there? In 3 years, if she dominates in 3 years, I'm not saying. Again, if she dominates right off the back her freshman year, okay, great. But in 3 years, if there's a team there, which I highly doubt it, then yeah, she'll be the first pick. But we'll see what happens with the WNBA, which, by the way, we're going to talk about that on the other side. But that's the NBA draft. That's my takes on that. We're definitely going to, that's around June 26th and 27th. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to tell y'all what I seen from where everybody goes. This is my picks. But let's talk about that coming. Let's talk about what we need to talk about coming next. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the WNBA. And the WNBA is starting tonight. And they got 4 solid games going on tonight. Let's talk about those matchups, and let's talk about what the top 5 things I'm looking for in the regular season. Let's talk about that next. It's Fishbowl Radio's Beyond the Game. Flying through air is the alike. Uh, this brand of Valkyries is strong, bold, and fierce. And then it says the team primary color is Valkyrie violet. So they'll be like violet, purple-ish, which signifies power, ambition, nobility, and women's empowerment. Wow. So it's purple. They'll be wearing purple jerseys. I mean, that's what this is their president saying. It feels like we arrived. Quote, it feels like we arrived. That's what she said. Wow, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. But anyways, the Valkyries is the new name. I don't know. So we gotta play the Golden State Valkyries. If I'm even pronouncing it right. Valkyries? Valkyries. Okay. Valkyries. Okay. It's so interesting. They could have gone with a different name. They could have gone with the Comments. They could have gone with, well, actually, that's the Houston Comments. They could have gone with anything else. But the Valkyries, that's crazy. Yeah. So that's the new team that's for next season. And so obviously they'll have the first pick and they'll have an expansion draft. So they'll draft. So it'll be a mixture of vets and young players. More young players than vets. You can't have a team with almost all young players all over it, because if you have that, then that's going to screw your team. The fans will show for the first 2 years, but after that, it's going to start tapering off if you don't win. So if you want to do this, they got the president and GM in place. Now you got to go after a coach that's young and that's hungry. Can't go for these old coaches like Curlin Peck. And also, you can't go for a coach that doesn't know basketball coaching. If I'm saying this right. Like, for example, the Lakers are going after JJ Redick, even though JJ Redick has not been an assistant in anywhere in the NBA. He's been a player. Now they'll say, "Hey, Andrea Carter, you've been doing so great at ESPN. We want you to be the head coach." Or Shanae Blumencape, "We want you to be the head coach." You know what? You know that's going to be the ultimate disrespect of society, because these people have experience on ESPN. It's different than in coaching. So why not go for a coach that has experience, coach that knows the players? I know some, but if we're going to do that, you might as well do it for any other prospect in life, you know. So go for a coach that's young and hungry, but also draft players that are young and vets, if that makes sense. So that's the new team for 2025. It should be the new team for this year, but anyways, the WNBA starts tonight. We got 4 games tonight while the NBA playoffs is going on. So obviously, number 1 will be the Aces. The Aces play the Mercury tonight. Is the Aces going to repeat? Okay, here are their pros and cons. They signed Gustafson. I said this last night on the podcast show that I have as well. I'm part of it. Gustafson, Kate Martin, the numerous releases that we've seen on this team on the WNBA page that we've seen every single day. She was not one that got released, so she made the team for the first time ever. Now remember, this player was going to support Caitlin Clark in the draft. Didn't know that she was going to get drafted and make the team, and she made the team. And so Becky Hammond loved what she saw from Kate Martin, so that's why she made the team. And so, but signing Megan Gustafson, I think Phoenix is going to regret that. Phoenix will definitely regret not signing Megan Gustafson, re-signing Megan Gustafson, because they lost Brittany Griner for the time being. So Brittany Griner has a fractured foot. And I know people are going to make, I saw the jokes out there of, poor Ben Simmons or poor guy. There was a lot of jokes out there. They're still making jokes out there of Brittany Griner. They really are. So they're making jokes of that. So, but this team has low post depth, their front line depth as well. So that's the team that's the thing they were lacking. They were lacking depth on both lines, because you have somebody, you don't have to put pressure on Jackie Young to play defense. You already got Kate Martin that comes off the bench and can can provide you something. Deja Fair, which is surprising to me because I never thought she'll make the team. She made the team as well. So, what is Becky Hammond playing with? Becky Hammond is playing with a backup point guard that can score the basketball, but not in the league yet. Not yet. But give it time. Her time is coming. And so, to me, I do think that the Aces have it. The Aces address every position all season, and they have it. Megan Gustafson can play the 4 and the 5. And so that's huge. That's what, you don't have to make Kia Stokes do it. And so the Aces, again, have it. They have it a lot. They have it. And so, why did she say 4 games? There's 3. Oh, there is. She's right. Okay. So, no team can beat them. I'm having a hard time. We had a hard time. I think last Monday, figuring out which team can beat the Aces. And then Wilson is a 2-time MVP. Let's not forget that. Asia Wilson is a 2-time MVP. We cannot forget that. So all you guys talk about Caitlin Clark and all of them, remember, you got a 2-time MVP in Asia Wilson. Let's not forget her. They're making commercials. They show that State Farm commercial every single time, every commercial. I saw it last night, and I was like, I was about to throw the TV because I'm like, I saw Caitlin Clark commercial. Okay, great. I know she has, but what about Asia Wilson? They don't show the commercials for TNT on that. Wow. But you gave it to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has not stepped an ounce in this league. But Asia Wilson gets about 5 seconds a commercial. So Asia Wilson was in the commercial when she threw the what's that drink that they're selling on? What's that drink called? Oh, that prime drink. So Sue Bird had it, threw it to Asia Wilson, and then Asia Wilson threw it to somebody else. That's the only commercial she's on. Caitlin Clark is on a bunch of them. But Asia Wilson's on 1. And she's a 2-time MVP. She's won 2 championships. Wow. So give her credit. Give her credit. Cons. This is where they struggle. They're going to beat themselves. And then fans dealing was right here. Fans decided who the router is, fans decided who to root for. So I think looking at the Aces roster, looking at them right now, I think that Natalie Williams did a decent job. I don't agree with the releases she has made for her team. She made some releases, but then again, it's like it depends on your identity, and it depends what the coaches want, the staff wants as a team. So if the coaches and staff agree that we're going to go with 11 players, we're going to play this style that won us 2 championships, we can repeat. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to repeat this season. Then I think you're going to be satisfied with the results. I mean, we can say expansion. We can say expansion. We can say expand the rosters. We can do all that, but then again, it's like a Band-Aid. When you get a scrape on your knee or anything in your body, it's like a Band-Aid. It's going to fix with weeks, with time, but then again, when you rip that Band-Aid off, it's going to disappear again until you hurt yourself again. That's what's going to happen with the expansion. If we're going to talk about expansion, I just don't listen. These teams are going to expand. There's going to be numerous in the coming days, coming weeks, coming months. There's going to be another team out there that's going to be like, hey, we want a team in Minnesota. We want a team in Houston. We want a team in Philly. It's going to be news coming along the break of saying, hey, we need a team in 2025, 2026. Now, if you want a team in 2025, you got to have the resources there. You got to make sure that you sell those resources to the commissioner and her associates and say, you know what? We can share the stadium with the 76ers. We can share the stadium with the Houston Rockets. We can share the stadium with, if you're doing it in North Carolina, we can share the stadium with the Charlotte Hornets. And so if you want to start a team in 2025, you have to have the resources right now so that we can start build, so that we can get the fans engaged. The fans are already engaged. Now we got to put them in the seats. Now we got to have everything together. Now we got a plan to say, you know what, in January 2025, you got to be ready to go. So, but as far as the Aces goes, there's no other team that's going to beat them. And on offense tonight, you can't run away through Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson is going to have the ball. She's going to dominate. And I think that game is on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and also on Disney Plus. So remember, ESPN and what? This is ridiculous. Why can't ESPN just say Disney Plus? Why can't they just put the bundle together? Why can't they just say ESPN2 bundle? Because ESPN Plus and Disney Plus and Hulu are all in the same proximity. So you're going to watch all the games on that same app. Yes, you are, because the bundle came out a couple of weeks ago, I think. You're going to watch the same games. It's not going to be on one channel. And that's right after the Caitlin Clark debut on Disney Plus, which I got to open up an app and watch Caitlin Clark. Or I got to go watch her on ESPN2, which they're going to show hockey tonight on ESPN. And so I got to go on ESPN2 to watch Caitlin Clark. Okay, fine, great. I'll go watch. But, okay, great. Whatever you want me to do, that I'll do. But I'm not going to go to the murder stuff. It wasn't there when growing up. Growing up on Oxygen, they had on that channel Oxygen, they had shows like, oh God, Queen Bee, something like that. It was a bunch of, it was like the Bad Girls Club. Yes, they had the Bad Girls Club on Oxygen. So the Oxygen was the second channel for women. So they had women's stuff on that channel. And so they had that stuff on that time. Lifetime had the same thing too. The Fever have to win. They have to win. If we're going to talk about celebrating, they have to win this year. And the first 5 matchups are important. So they got the Sun tonight on ESPN2. Obviously, everyone's going to show it. They have the Liberty on Thursday. That's on Amazon Prime. So that's an online thing. Depending on how you see it. Well, actually, turn on your Amazon app. Go to Prime and watch it there. You might have to pay like $15 to watch Caitlin Clark. But you get a discount on everything else. You get a discount on Amazon and all this stuff. So when you want a product, you get a discount. It'll show up within a day or two. Instead of like 7 days. You got the Liberty on the ABC. That's a Saturday game on ABC. And then, so they play the Liberty twice. And then got the Sun on ESPN next Monday. And then they got the Storm next Wednesday at the Storm. So that's on Amazon Prime at 9 o'clock next Wednesday. So, but also you can't forget about these players. You can't forget about Leah Boston. You can't forget about Damaris Dantas. She made the team. That's the center. That's the power forward who used to be on Minnesota. You can't forget about Lexi Hull. Kelsey Mitchell, when healthy, is a good 18 to 20 point scorer. Katie Lou Samuelson, a good 3-point shooter. Melissa Smith, a good player. Celeste Taylor, a great defensive player. I'm so happy she made the team after all she went through. And Erica Wheeler. That's your point guard. Can they win this year? I'm expecting 21 wins. I'm gonna write this down. 21 wins. The 21 wins this year. If we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark and her success, I wanted them to win 21 games. No ifs or buts about it. They'll have growing pains in between, but if they're saying she's the real deal, I want her to win 21 games. Try it. Make the playoffs. We'll see what happens. Let's see if it's real. But you will see it. You will see it. All right. So enough of Caitlin Clark. I hope she does well. I wish nothing of the best for the Indiana Fever. And I hope Coach Sides knows what she's doing. Don't worry about the fans. The fans are going to be all right. We want to know what you're going to do. You have a staff that may not agree with the fans of putting her in the game. Okay, fine. Come and say you're going to exhaust her. You're going to be all you fans that know nothing. Not you, but you guys don't know about basketball are going to exhaust her to death. And when that happens, you're going to see games of 12 points. You're going to see games of 9 points. You're going to see her take a break. You're going to see her get 21 minutes. That's fine. You tell her to play in college, go to the draft, practice, go to the games, perform, score 30 points a game, which that's not going to happen in this league. That's a lot. So, more proud to you. Number 3, the Dallas Wings. Can they make a run this year? So is LT going to make adjustments on the fly? That's my problem. Okay. LT, we gave you all the resources. You had a great draft. You can't screw this up. I wanted to say the F word, but you can't screw this up. You can't screw the season up. You gotta know what the time and the situations is on the court at all times. We're gonna miss Satu for the next 3 months because she's out with a shoulder injury. So, if I'm correct, ESPN said that she could be out to August. That's after the Olympic break. So she could come back then. But that's what ESPN is saying. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rely on Enrique to come through. I'm also going to rely on JC Sheldon to get a hold on a point guard position. That's what I'm going to do. So I hope that JC Sheldon, they know what they're doing. But because they traded Crystal Dangerfield, but they also released fan favorite Victoria Burton. See, for Victoria Burton, I think she's like 22, 23 years old. She's so young. I guess to me, wait for your time. Your time is coming. You're going to get a job, and you're going to be all right. So I want to see what happens with the Dallas Wings. They're moving to the convention center in 2026. So a lot of good things for the WNBA are going to happen in 2026. You got the new team, which they'll be in their second season. But you also got the team in Toronto, and also you got Philly, you got Denver, you got Houston, you got a whole U.S. to worry about the WNBA. Which next team gets that bid? So right now we're at 14. Right now, as of 2026, we'll be at 14 teams. Who knows? We can add another 6 in the next few months. We'll see. So, I'm challenging Enrique to step up. So I'm challenging her to step up in these games coming up. So the first 5 games for the Wings, they start tomorrow night. Chicago Sky, they played them twice on Wednesday and Saturday. They played the Dream. They're at the Dream on next Tuesday. They're at Phoenix next Saturday. That's the 25th, May 25th. And then they're also in LA on the 26th. So they got a little break in between starting off. But I want to see what's going to happen in the next 5 games. What type of Dallas Wings team are we going to see? And also, can they compete with the Aces? We'll see what happens. All right, so number 4, teams that could rise, but we're going to give them a name that they're not accustomed to. So let's talk about the Liberty. I wrote down, can they stay in it and don't lose focus? Okay, you came second. You were the second seed. Okay, don't lose your focus. I think this year will be a little different for the Liberty itself. They got the Mystics tonight, so obviously you should beat the Mystics. So that's obvious. So tonight will be an interesting night for the Liberty. The Connecticut Sun, they gotta accelerate their depth, and also they gotta work. They gotta work Brianna Jones in. So Brianna Jones is coming off her torn ACL or torn Achilles, so they gotta work her in. It's gonna be tough, moving around, but they're gonna work her in, and I think she'll be better for it. And I think that is the missing piece if we're talking about the Sun moving on to the next round for next season. So, to me, I do think that Brianna Jones needs to be worked in. Atlanta Dream, they gotta find something they gotta build on. I think the Dream screwed up their off season and the draft. They didn't do well this off season. They got Jordan Canada, they got Crystal Dangerfield. They really didn't address their frontline depth. So you got another player that's overseas right now that's not going to play this season. You drafted her at 12, but you could have drafted somebody else at 12. And so to me, I think they screwed up this season, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I thought they could be better than the Liberty and the Sun combined, but they took that step back by not addressing their off season. So to me, Atlanta Dream, again, I'm so mad at them. They make me look stupid. Don't make me look stupid by putting you over the Sun and the Liberty combined. The LA Sparks. Let's not ruin Jackson, and Brink's success. Let's not forget about them because they were drafted as 2 and 4. You got to remember, Cameron Brink is coming in with swagger. Rickea Jackson hasn't even started yet, but we're going to see the best from her. So, to me, we can talk about Caitlin Clark all we want, but let's not forget Cameron Brink and Rickea Jackson. The Sparks, I don't know what they're going to do this season. I'm a little wary of Kurt Miller, but I want to see what he can do with 2 rookies on the team. And no Cheyenne Parker. Not Cheyenne Parker. No, what's her name? Abumike. Shanae Abumike. No NECA, no Shanae Abumike. I think Shanae has retired. I think she's retired. I honestly think she's retired. But she won't announce that yet. The last thing, Chicago Sky. You got to fight like hell this year. Brianna Maxwell was released yesterday. You got to fight like hell. Teresa Weatherspoon knows the hype, knows the fight, and what she's got. Drafting Angel Reese is not a bad. It's not a bad thing because Angel Reese knows that fight. Camila Cardoso, they're going to miss heavily in the next 6 weeks because of a shoulder injury. But once they work itself in, I think they're going to be the best tandem in the league. So to me, you got to I think Dawn Staley and Dawn Staley is going to make a round trip all around the world. She's going to see her player in Chicago and also going to see her player in Las Vegas, in Asia Wilson. And so to me, to Chicago Sky, they got to fight like hell up until Cardoso comes back. If they're trending around 500 between June the 1st and July the 1st, I think they'll be all right after July the 1st. So we'll see what happens. All right, so you're going to see a lot this season. All these channels, all these people saying these nonsensical things. Y'all are gonna probably believe them. Y'all gonna say a bunch of things. You're gonna say this and that. This is what you're gonna look at. This is what you're gonna fear. You gotta avoid the negativity. You gotta avoid the negativity. Okay? I don't want fans to invest in the negativity. You don't want to be awkward. Don't be awkward, fans. Okay? Watch for old commercials. Old commercials meaning that for older people. So if they put the games on Ion, they will put the games on Ion this year. Ion is an old crime network. They show like Chicago, Magnum PI, stuff like that. They'll show like women's old stuff. Like we don't want to see aging stuff, or they'll show old men's stuff as well. So we don't want to see that. And so, but they will show that. But for the new commercials, they'll show the new Skims commercial. So every WNBA player is invested in Skims. You saw it. The women's underwear. You saw it. They'll show that. They'll show that a bunch, and it's not a bad thing because you're trying to promote the game for women. So you don't want to show old women medical stuff, but you want to show the new stuff of what they're wearing, so that women can go buy that, and men too. They can go buy those stuff. Another thing you'll see is that that commercial was Kelsey Plum and Giannis, and the Alvin the Goodwill brothers, the legal Zoom commercial. You saw that one as well. Okay, Giannis and his brother, that they're doing. They're showing Kelsey Plum how to do a business on LegalZoom, and Giannis is showing her how to do it and all that stuff, and she's trying to do. Kelsey Plum's trying to figure it out and all that stuff. So you'll see that they're showing it right now for NBA stuff. So it's funny, but so they'll show it for the WNBA as well. So they'll show that commercial, and all that stuff. So you gotta respect the legends. You gotta respect Candace Parker. Candace Parker is the new face of the Adidas. She's the new president of the Adidas brand. So I'm not a big fan of Adidas. I'm a Nike guy, but Adidas makes okay product for me. I don't like that. But then again, Candace Parker is the new president, and she just retired, and so she is the new president of Adidas. Last thing is watch for fake fans of the WNBA. Those fake fans that are fans of Caitlin Clark, they're not her fans. Come on now, they're fans of her. They're not fans of Angel Reese. They're not fans of Candace Parker, Asia Wilson. They don't know who they are. They just see Caitlin Clark and be like, oh, I know who she is. So you gotta watch for that. And also fans will make sexist comments. Like that reporter, he made a sexist comment to Caitlin on her press conference on her first day. And I'm like, wow, that guy did not get fired. But he's not going to cover the team this year. He'll be there next season. He's not going to get fired. So it is what it is. But there is disrespect around. I don't want people to invest in that disrespect in the WNBA. So this should be a great season. I'm happy to give y'all the first week of it moving forward. What Caitlin did, what others did as well. Don't forget about the others. Don't forget Seattle. Don't forget Las Vegas. Don't forget the lesser teams like Washington. Don't forget Phoenix as well. And so we'll see what happens. But next week we're going to talk about the conference finals. Hopefully we're going to talk about the conference finals. I'm going to give you a preview of that. And also let me talk about the top NFL games that I'm not going to deep dive into the NFL schedule, because the NFL schedule comes out tomorrow. I want to give you the top matches that I want to see coming up next week. So, and that includes the Cowboys too. So we're going to talk about that next week, plus the WNBA and much more. All right, guys. Thank you for listening and watching the Beyond the Game podcast. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you get your podcast at. And I will see y'all next week. It's Fishbowl Radio's Beyond the Game.